In terms of what we're seeing our client organizations expending their time and compliance efforts on, without question, we see the whole issue of cookies and equivalent technologies as being the subject of a lot more regulatory scrutiny by both the Irish regulator, the Data Protection Commission, and right across Europe. So it is really important that organizations are revisiting how they deploy and access cookies and equivalent technologies and keep their notifications and consent mechanisms up to date. As I said, there's an increasing focus by regulators on how those tools are used, and it is really important that organizations stay up to date, get the right consents, and have the right transparency in place. Another really interesting area which we see increased focus on concerns the rights of children under data protection law. Children meaning folks that are under the age of 18. And the Data Protection Commission this year has made it one of our key goals to focus on compliance by organisations who process children's data, and has issued draft consultation in relation to its approach to regulating children's data. So organisations that do process large volumes of children's data need to be particularly cognizant of the augmented standards of compliance that are going to be expected of them when it comes to their processing of children's data. Another interesting area which we see increasing focus on concerns governance and decision making by organisations. What we have is a comprehensive set of rules in the GDPR, and one of the central pervasive principles amongst those rules is that there has to be decision making and very clear decision making lines in an organisation whereby key decisions are being written down and organisations are able to point to when it makes decisions and who makes decisions in relation to personal data processing. So increasingly we see more sophisticated governance and accountability regimes being put in place by organisations. And the reason they need to do this is that when an issue arises, and if the Data Protection Commission chooses to investigate or to launch a statutory inquiry, the first thing the Data Protection Commission is likely to ask for is the relevant decisions, copies of the decisions made by the organisations underpinning the processing that has now fallen for review in the relevant investigation or inquiry. So in order to be able to produce decisions, organisations need proper governance frameworks in place so that they are accounting and writing down these decisions, and that the board is delegating authority to the correct decision makers.